Man, this game looks like a ton of fun. I've been looking for a decent horror game on mobile for a while now. This game's trailer looks really awesome too. It's about time that a game took horror seriously. Wow, Joseph is so hot. Oh my, Joseph and Mad Eyes is the only shit for me. All these are the besties. Prisoner, you are my bae. Identity V can be difficult for beginner players and also for people who've been playing it for quite a long time. This is because it can be very difficult to understand where you need to improve at. And there are so many videos that are online teaching you with different tips, different tricks. Some of these tips are geared towards beginners and some of them are geared towards those that are advanced. But you just want to know what you're doing wrong so that you can improve. So what I did is I went incognito and I made a new account in Identity V with the purpose of playing against beginner players so we could see what they are doing wrong and what they're doing right so you can learn from their mistakes. The first thing that we see in this match is the perfumer actually did the correct thing, running towards a pallet, forcing the hunter to either go towards the pallet and risk falling behind as the survivor drops it and runs away, or forcing the hunter to avoid the pallet entirely, taking a slightly longer route to get to their target, meaning that you will still have time to vault and leave. Being aware of your surroundings is key, and knowing exactly where you can find a pallet can be key to your survival and extending a kite. In Identity V, pallets are a mind game. Survivors can drop them early, hoping that the survivor won't try and hit them whilst they do that. The survivor can also wait and hope that the hunter will walk through the pallet, to which he would then pallet stun them. You can also bait hits by making it look like you're going to drop the pallet so the hunter will try and attack, and you can waste a lot of the hunter's time by making them think that you're going to drop it but you're not going to. Pallets can mean survival in Identity V, so make sure that you always kite towards a pallet or towards a window. After chairing, the hunter has two options. They either camp the chair, or they go off to go and pressure a cipher or an incoming rescuer. A lot of beginner players complain about hunters camping the chair, but this is actually a good thing because this means that all three survivors that are not on the chair are completely free to decode. Matches are incredibly short in this game, so make sure that you communicate which survivor is going to go towards the chair to go and rescue by using the "don't move, I'm coming quick" message if you are the one that's going in for the rescue. The other two survivors need to be decoding during this whole time. Double rescues are almost always unnecessary and really shouldn't be used. So use all this free time that you have without the hunter chasing you to be put towards decoding cipher machines, because the match will usually end before the hunter gets the second or third chair. This coordinator made a mistake. They didn't transition early enough. The survivor on the chair is almost at the halfway mark, meaning that if they get chaired once again, they'll be completely eliminated and they won't get a third chair. If the coordinator would have transitioned as soon as the perfumer had touched the chair, they possibly could have made it in time to rescue, or they wouldn't have had to worry about being hit too far away from the chair. What you'll often see is that survivors will be near the chair when they get hit so that they can come in whilst the hunter is having their attack recovery to be able to then rescue. So transitioning as soon as someone hits the chair if you are going to go and rescue is probably the best thing, unless you are right next to the chair itself. Here we see the coordinator use the window very effectively. By forcing the hunter to be at a distance from the window, this will force the hunter to choose either going towards the left, to which you would then vault the window, making it so that the hunter would have to follow behind the window or go back around to the right, or you go to the right and do the same thing but going towards the left. Knowing which areas in the map are the best areas to loop is very important, but also knowing how to use them is very important too. There are some really strong key window placements and pallets as well that can really just extend a kite even if you spend most of your kite in that one area. Usually I would commend this player for running towards the shack area of the map, but there is a high risk to the survivor here, and that is due to basement. Knowing where the basement is each match is vital and should be communicated to the rest of the team as soon as possible and as early as possible in the match. If you are near the shack area or where another basement might spawn, you should go and check that it's there at the beginning of the match before you go and decode by using the basement is here quick check message to communicate to the team that you know where it is. Knowing the placement of the basement is very important because this means that you need to try and avoid as much as you can kiting in that area, and the rest of your team should do the same. Because if you get knocked down whilst kiting in this area, you will be chaired in the basement. It's almost guaranteed to be a loss if you get put in the basement, especially in the early game. And as you will see in this match, it will lead to the downfall of the remainder of this survivor team. This is why basement is so dangerous, but there are ways to counter this. What you're seeing is that the hunter can use the fall animation to cancel their attack recovery, meaning that they can get 2 consecutive hits on a survivor without any type of attack recovery. The way to prevent this from happening is by mind gaming the hunter, by making them think that you're about to go down the stairs, but instead you back up and go back up the stairs again. The hunter will usually try and fall so that they don't miss the hit, to which you are now able to go down the stairs without having to worry about this double hit that they'll do. This means that you will probably have to take at least 1 hit. It's better than taking 2 and being knocked down immediately. On the way out, the hunter may also try to do the same thing to you escaping. They'll try to use a double hit to be able to hit the rescuer and also the person who was rescued. You should also try to bait them out by going up the stairs but then backing up at the last second. This will mean that either one of you will get hit or possibly none of you as the hunter tries to relocate and find out where you are. In this match, we can see the survivors are decoding by looking for ciphers that are wiggling. This is common knowledge by now, but many people that are beginners don't really realize that your cipher machines wiggle, and this is how some hunters will locate where the people are decoding. When a cipher machine hits around 30%, the cipher starts to wiggle considerably, and if you pay attention, you'll notice as a hunter that they are wiggling and you can see them from anywhere on the map when they're decoding. A good hunter will be constantly aware of each survivor's location, even whilst in the middle of a chase. This permits a hunter to predict which way a survivor that's coming to rescue might come from, because they'll be able to see which cipher machine has stopped wiggling when they place the survivor on a chair. So, as a survivor, you also need to be aware that the hunter might know from which way you're coming from. Whilst we watch this patient kite, there is also something you should be aware of as a survivor, or even as a hunter, and this is different sound cues in the game. Many veteran players know this, but I'm not really sure how common a knowledge this is. The bell sound that you can hear sometimes when a survivor gets hit means that the hunter has reached a certain presence level, meaning that they have unlocked a new ability. Paying attention to when these abilities are unlocked are very important because the whole team can know what abilities each hunter has access to at different points of the match. An advanced tip connected to this is if you hear the bell sound when a survivor has not been hit or a doll hasn't been hit, then this means that the hunter is taking insolence. Insolence means that they can unlock their abilities a little bit sooner. By using this information, you can now deduce that the hunter is not taking one of the other 3 extremities of their persona web, possibly detention or trump card. Most hunters don't usually take north and west. Other sounds you can look out for are the sounds of incoming teleports, different hunter abilities in the early games such as Breaking Wheel's transformation when he turns into his wheel form, and Wu Chang's teleport for example, and so on. Knowing when a hunter is breaking a pallet without being able to see them by just listening is also a very important skill, so you can know if the hunter really did follow right behind you or if they might come around the corner to surprise you. The psychologist here uses the pallets and the factory very well in this match, and once again I stress the importance of knowing the locations of the strongest kiting areas on each map, and learning how to use each one to its best effect. Another thing that we see the psychologist do well is the rescue. It's really better not to risk the terror shock and to be able to take 1 hit whilst the hunter is then recovering and rescue and then be free, or if you really think that you're skilled enough to be able to bait the hunter into thinking that you're going to rescue by quickly touching the rescue chair and then quickly backing up. This will sometimes mean that the hunter will hit the chair and they'll get temporarily stunned, to which you can rescue without having taken any damage, to which you can then body block for the survivor that was just rescued. If you're having trouble finding survivors at the beginning of a match, or you're a survivor and you're really not sure where to find the hunters because you don't know which direction they're coming from, then you should watch this video.